The election of Alan Chastney is deemed an acceptance by business magnate and father Michael Chastney. The UWP has been warned a change of guard is a change to operate in. And courts delivers to the disadvantaged. By all admission, it was a long, hard fight for the ultimate grasp of the torch. Worried that the flame would fade, members of the United Workers' Party moved decisively, sparking a new burst of energy. But the change is not confined solely at the helm. There will be a new order in the ranks. Hello everyone, welcome to the CTV News on Calabash TV. I am Lisa Joseph. It was a landslide victory for those who now form the new executive of the opposition United Workers' Party. The 37th National Convention was an historic chapter for the party. It was a long day for delegates, the party faithful, interested parties, and the curious as the hours dragged on. The air was thick with expectation and anxiety. But there was a certainty in the mix. As the delegates roamed after casting their ballots, the whispers began and the intent grew loud. There was change on the way. Amidst it all, the Castries North delegation vacated the convention hall. They gathered to meet and console their leader. Stephenson King, accompanied by his wife, flanked by supporters, smiled his way to the end of his reign. Then came the eruption, cheers and shouts of victory. Alan Chastney emerged and the pandemonium was almost uncontrollable. Despite the wait for the official announcement, Alan Chastney was ushered in as the victor. He managed his way through to Stephenson King, hand outstretched to reach for the man who has been a constant flubber. But King ignored the gesture, perhaps in that moment, refusing to acknowledge what everyone already knew. But when it was all counted, the official call was 99 for King, 264 for Chastney. It was then that Stephenson King surrendered, thanking the 99 who stood by him and believed in him. Congratulating Alan Chastney, King told the party he is accustomed with adversity.
But the most trying time for me, really and truly, were the last 6 weeks in my life. I lost my mom in the process. And on Monday last week, my wife lost her job at the bank. So now, for me, I am accustomed with adversity. I know what it is to be down and out, and I know what it is to keep fighting until the end. The task ahead has just begun.
Promising to one day tell all that he has been through in the last 3 months, King shared that the campaign period for leadership was a bitter one.
I've had people in this campaign who have called my friends overseas to paint the worst picture about Stephenson King. But then, that will not deter me. That will not stop me. That can only be fuel for the fight ahead. I thank you. May the Governor bless and keep you. Thank you very much.
The former political leader vowed to devote the time he has gained since losing to his constituents. Stephenson King remains leader of the opposition in Parliament. The political leader-elect in his victory speech pitched for healing in the party. Alan Chastney noted that the democratic process was at work and responsible for the change witnessed.
I thank you for your courage, and I am grateful for your show of confidence in me and the other people who you have elected to form the national executive of our party. Over the last few months, we have gone through a process which has resulted in the decision to change the leadership of United Workers' Party. This process is provided for in the party's constitution. And I thank you for allowing the process to take effect, all in an effort to strengthen our great party and better prepare ourselves to assume the governance of the country of St. Lucia.
The new leader called on all supporters of the UWP to move past their individual preferences and fall behind the collective goal.
During the months leading up to the convention, a deliberate attempt was made not to denigrate or unfairly criticize or malign the opponent, because we recognize that we are one party, with one objective: to unseat the Labour Party, with elections to be called soon, so that we can regain the governance of this country, creating an equal opportunity for everyone. Therefore, the process of reconciliation begins immediately. I am making a special appeal to every supporter to reach out and embrace one another, extend a handshake or exchange a smile. Remembering we have one common purpose, one common goal. The tasks ahead are many.
Joining Mr. Chasney on the executive are deputy leaders Leonard Spider Montoute and Gail Rigobert, the party chairman Ezekiel Joseph, first deputy chairman Mary Polius, and second deputy chairman Andy Daniel. The party treasurer is Leslie Fulgent, the elections officer Leonise John. The trustees are Gertrude George, Nicholas John, Moses Vaval, and the welfare officer is Elista St. Marth. Now, the incoming chairman, Ezekiel Joseph, has already demonstrated that his will be a tight ship. He told party members that much had been said and done during the weeks of campaigning, but the results have ushered a new beginning.
During the process where we are reorganizing ourselves, restructuring ourselves, and each and every one of you have a responsibility to work with the men and women of here to tell the Labour Party enough is enough.
Mr. Joseph firmly cautioned members against dividing the party. There will be policies, principles, and discipline, he stated, all directed towards an improved Flabo.
If anyone has a problem, they have an avenue to come and voice their concerns. The concerns have to be voiced in the bosom of your members. Your concerns cannot be voiced on the radio or television. I want to tell you today that this thing stops from today.
Politics, observers would say, is all about perception, and perception, image. And that boils down to family. For Alan Chasney, his represents a dynasty. It is no secret that he's from wealth, with a father who is a magnate. Michael Chasney, adorning a yellow shirt in support of his son, found himself swept by a jubilant crowd as Alan was declared winner. We managed a brief interview with Mr. Chasney, who deemed the victory an acceptance.
It is very, very satisfying to see how the reaction they have got having worked so hard, because it's been 3 months of intense campaigning. So what I'm seeing today is an acceptance of what the people want.
But you were campaigning along with your son, because I know in the very beginning you seem to have wanted to stay away from it all.
I did stay away. On the last 2 occasions I did say a few words of support. But that's about it, basically. But he did the work. Yeah.
But a lot of people would now believe that your pull within the business community will be one that Alan will have to rely on heavily. Do you see that as being fact?
It's not a fact, but one thing we'll say, prime ministers have to work with the business community, because the business community drives the government. Remember, we are the ones producing the money for the public sector. So they have to work with us. So we are important.
You said prime ministers must work, and is that a foregone conclusion to your mind that your son will become prime minister?
Some of them don't work with the private sector, but and some do. But
do you believe that your son is well on his way to being a prime minister?
If he's going to?
Well on his way to becoming prime minister.
That's a long shot, because remember, the elections are still 3 years away, okay? A lot can happen between now and 3 years. There's many a slip between the cup and the lip. But, you know, but I would say that his chances are better than they were yesterday. for that matter, okay? Because he's in a different position now. He's in a position where he has a team, the people have accepted his team, and they intend to move forward.
But the challenge will be to have the nation, the national electorate,
Yes.
to go in that direction.
Correct, that is correct. And it all depends how he's going to respond to that, and I'm sure that he knows what he has to do.
And still on the family, Rachel Dubele, the wife of Alan Chastney, says she is prepared once again to support her husband as he continues his political aspirations.
They're ready. We've spoken to them about the possibility that, Daddy could win today. They're a little bit aware of what's going on, not entirely, but they understand that, I think Alan has made them very aware that this is for the greater good in his opinion and what he's trying to do. So they're, in their own little way, they're very supportive.
We've often asked his father many questions about him, but from the wife, you would know him most intimate in some of his most up moments and down moments. What do you think that St. Lucians do not know about Alan Chastney?
I think there's a lot. I think most of it has been said already, quite honestly. I think he's just spends every waking moment thinking about what he can do to make it a better place, not just for our children, but for everybody's children. And he deeply, deeply cares about what he's doing and about St. Lucia.
So for you, taking on the role, are you ready?
I think I'm starting to get ready. Today has been a very big wake-up call for me. It's my first political convention. I think most people with the party know that generally I stay away from all things political, but obviously I do have to play a very different role now. And obviously I support my husband 100%, and I support what he's trying to do for St. Lucia. So I look forward to the challenges of tomorrow.
Rachel Dubele, an accomplished lawyer, is a partner in the same law firm as Michelle Anthony Daisy, the daughter of Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony. Mrs. Dubele Chastney has shrugged off suggestions that politics may get in the way of their friendship.
We are more than just friends, we are sisters, and we don't discuss politics. We don't discuss any ramifications down the road. But for right now, we care about each other as friends and as business partners, and that's it. And I hope that's the way that it remains. I think she's of the same mind.
You're watching the CTV News. Stay with us. When we come back, members of the St. Lucia Teachers Union and the Credit Union are having their children receive bursaries from the organization. Thanks for staying with the CTV News. Members of the St. Lucia Teachers Credit Union and the St. Lucia Teachers Union, whose children were successful at this year's Common Entrance Examination, became eligible for one-off bursaries from the organizations. A ceremony was held at the Castries City Hall Monday morning to award the recipients.
155 bursaries were awarded on Monday morning to students who had succeeded in their Common Entrance Examination by the St. Lucia Teachers Union and the Teachers Credit Cooperative. The students, whose eligibility was based on their parents' membership with the organizations, were given a certificate for their performance in an award ceremony held at the Castries Town Hall. Their parents subsequently collected the checks for their children's education.
We know that teachers contribute tremendously to the development of other children. And so when their children do well as they have done and have been successful, we seek to help them because we know that children moving into secondary school put an additional burden on parents in terms of books and uniforms, etc. So today we are celebrating with the students' success, and we are taking the opportunity to make a contribution, monetary contribution, to our teachers, our members, so that it can assist them in sending the children to secondary school.
The St. Lucia Teachers Union also awarded the top scorer out of the group, student Karim Nelson. He will receive a 5 full-year scholarship. However, the president of the St. Lucia Teachers Union said that the bursaries are equally significant as it provides a sense of equality for the members in the organizations.
The St. Lucia Teachers Union believe that we must contribute to the development of all our members. Some time ago, we provided 4 scholarships, but then we moved from that to providing 1 scholarship and giving the others bursaries. It's more costly for the union, but we want to celebrate with all our members their success. And so while we give the scholarship to recognize academic excellence, we want also to be able to reach all of our members in terms of assisting them in sending the children to a secondary school.
Some students were able to be awarded doubly thanks to their parents being members of both the union and the credit cooperative.
Some of the students are actually the same because the students, if their parents are members of both organizations, they receive 2 bursaries, one from the credit union and one from the teachers union. The bursaries are in the amount of $300 each, so a total of $600 per child.
Though respectively conducting bursary disbursements for over 10 years, the St. Lucia Teachers Union and the St. Lucia Teachers Credit Cooperative collaborated 8 years ago in the annual initiative for the convenience of its teacher members. For the CTV News, I am Jessie Leonce.
Lower prices for petroleum products effective Monday 29 July. Retail prices for fuel, kerosene and LPG decreased. Despite recent increases in the price of oil, largely due to concern over the ongoing political dispute in Egypt, the Cabinet of Ministers decided to grant a reduction in the price of fuel products based on the cost of recent imports of refined petroleum products to St. Lucia. Unleaded gasoline will be reduced by 10 cents, that's from $15.99 to $15.89 per gallon. Diesel reduced by 50 cents from $15.85 to $15.35 per gallon. Kerosene will realize a reduction of $2.02 and will now be sold at $11.01 per gallon. The 20-pound LPG will be reduced by $1.25 from $37. It now costs $35.75. While the 100-pound LPG will be reduced by $22. It is down from $275.75 to $253.75. And bulk LPG will be sold at $5.42 per kilogram, a reduction of 42 cents. The press release from the Prime Minister's office says even after the price reductions, government continues to subsidize the 20-pound LPG by $15 per cylinder. The next price adjustment takes effect on October 21st, 2013. Non-governmental organizations were the recipients of much-needed assistance from Court St. Lucia Limited. We get details from CTV's Jessie Leonce.
The Council of and for Persons with Disabilities have found favor in corporate entity Court St. Lucia. The company responded to a request for donation, giving a music system free of charge for a raffle. And even when they were not called directly to assist further, they ended up doing so through collaboration with another company.
They also approached DBS for an item, and DBS then would have contacted us because DBS wanted to donate a refrigerator. They contacted us to find out if we would be willing to assist, although we had already done a donation. But nonetheless, we recognized the need and we assisted DBS by allowing a 50% discount on the purchase of the items for the council.
Another organization was on hand to receive from the Courts company. The Sickle Cell Association collected the final check of a 3-year contract with Courts.
And we entered into a covenant, a 3-year covenant with them to the tune of $13,500. This year was the last year of that covenant, and Mrs. Cauldron was here to pick up the last $4,500 as part of that agreement.
President of the Sickle Cell Association outlined what the money donated over the past 3 years had been going towards.
And we are indeed happy because what we do with the funds that we receive from our community folks is that we provide medical assistance to our sick children as well as adults. We sometimes have to send them abroad to get medical attention. We also provide some children with school clothes, school uniforms, books. We actually feed them because many of them who have sickle cell cannot afford a meal during the course of the day. So we do that as well. So what the Courts is doing for us is helping us to provide a service to our young, sick and elderly people as well.
Courts marketing manager maintained the company's firm belief in corporate initiative in the community, especially for those who are deprived in one way or another.
Well, it's always our responsibility to add value to our community. And what better way than to assist NGOs? I mean, they they provide a great service to the community. They do it all, most of them do it on their own by raising funds and so forth, and some of them do get some sort of stipend from the government. But in terms of keeping the day-to-day activities running, raising funds, that sort of thing, we find it it's very valuable for us to assist these organizations to consistently continue to provide that assistance to the public, especially the less fortunate among us.
For the CTV News, I am Jessie Leonce.
Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony will attend the 12th ALBA Trade Agreement Summit of Heads of State in the Republic of Ecuador on Tuesday, 30th July. During the visit, Dr. Anthony hopes to formalize the full entry of St. Lucia into ALBA, joining other Caribbean islands, including Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Dominica in the strategic move. Prime Minister Anthony will be accompanied by Senator Dr. James Fletcher, the Minister for Public Service, Sustainable Development, Energy, Science and Technology. All expenses of the trip will be covered by the Republic of Ecuador, according to the Prime Minister's office. Let's take a look now at what's happening to us weather-wise. Welcome back. Two of St. Lucia's iconic institutions have received support from Lime this week in collaboration with George Theophilus. They cover subject of the company's 2013 Services Directory. Mr. Theophilus, along with representatives from Lime, visited the two homes to make check presentations to their respective administrators.
Earlier this year, finance pioneer Mr. George Theophilus agreed to be on the cover of the Lime 2013 Services Directory. In recognition of that collaboration, the communications giant further agreed to volunteer its support to any charitable organization of Mr. Theophilus' choice. As a man who's passionate about the affairs of the elderly, it didn't take Mr. Theophilus long to choose the Marion and Adelaide and Francis Memorial Homes as the recipients. He is one who firmly believes that organizations which contribute toward the welfare of the elderly should be recognized, especially in an age where families are slowly abandoning that responsibility.
The Marion Home particularly has been providing that service for a number of years, and you could see it's a very large organization, and it needs all the assistance, financial assistance and otherwise, that we can give to it. Hence the reason why I selected the Marion Home and the Adelaide Home as well. We must not forget that the people who come to the Marion Home are usually people who are very dependent. Whereas on the other side, you may have people who are capable of financing themselves.
According to Lime's general manager, Chris Williams, this presentation is in keeping with the company policy. Lime, he says, has made previous donations to homes for the elderly and was more than happy to collaborate with Mr. Theophilus in that regard.
As a nation, we should be taking a step back and recognizing people who have paved the way for us and show our gratitude and appreciation for the debt owed.
With plans underway to expand one of the homes by 23 more rooms, founder and CEO of Johnson Memorial and the Adelaide and Francis Home, Mr. Augustus Justin, says that this donation from Lime will go a long way in bringing the $2.8 million project to fruition. As to why he does what he does, Justin says simply that it's the Lord's work.
This job I'm doing here, it's a Lord's work. Lord's work. That's all I can say. And I've given the rest of my life to do just what I'm doing, to take care of them, love them, use my monies, and to be a good father, brother, son to them.
With former subjects including leading lights in the arts, education and sports, Lime has always been strategic when selecting a face to represent the cover of its telephone directories, and so far the company has no regrets.
Well, the Pitons St. Lucia's nomination in the running for the 8th Wonder of the World title is currently in the top 25 out of 350 nominations vying. While the St. Lucia Tourist Board commends the public participation in achieving this feat, the board says that more needs to be done to claim the #1 spot. So voting remains open at www.virtualtourist.com/8th Wonder, and will remain open until September 30. So you want to make sure you do that. And I could only think of our hustler, Ernest Sexios, his contribution to the intercommercial Calypso competition was all about the pitons becoming the 8th wonder. So if you need that song for inspiration, make sure you click on it somewhere on the internet. And just before we leave you, this program note, Untold Stories, that's coming up after the CTV News. We go all the way back. We take a look at the history of St. Lucia, Part 1, repeat program for you from Untold Stories, that riveting documentary series. That's where we come to the end of the CTV News. We want to tell you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mr. Joseph, as always, saying goodbye until we meet